Seem to find my thing. They don't seem to know their place. Enemy. Blood is
Load up, pussy won't smoke, roll up, cooking on the bitch, load up, drinking on the dirty soda, promise someone never sober, niggas ain't never fussy vultures, sex, molly, damn, baby, pressure, X on your pool, man, I done made love to me, I done told me up, I done pulled up one, I got me two, fuck around, had to pull up one more, check my beds, I done went to her beds, I done went to the kids, I done went to the kids. Heard of my clip and I'm feeling no fresh. Fuck with the best and she love me to death, but I do my shit.
trying to take me back. Running on the hills, bitches bitching at me going slow. You was going slow. Happy said pills, my nigga. Can't stop me around with it. I'm saying go sit tag with it. Go through that in my day.
Once you trust the drug, I be sipping syrup. I think I'm in love. From the apartment to the top, I sold out show. She said she play with her nose. I told her that's not in my nose. I know when to go, I know when to fold that number. They throwing dirt with no shovel. It ain't no shit on my thing. It ain't no flaw on my.
Go ahead and get it started. This is Master Pyro tapping in on Levels of Mastery. I do this every Tuesday. So today's gonna be a very interesting episode, an interesting level, because as you guys see, I'm in my travels right now. All right, I'm out here. I don't know. I think I'm in Buckeye, Arizona, a little bit of a ways here at a local Starbucks, tapping in with the Wi-Fi and whatnot. So, you know, for this sit down, for this level, like I said, it's going to be something that's going to be very interesting on where we're going with this specific stream, which is called Levels of Mastery, right? And it's always about realizing what is your next level and where you're going after, how you're accomplishing your goals, how you're accomplishing the state of mind that you wish to have. Not only that you wish to have, but it's very obtainable for you to have. And that's something that's very important to even recognize, that what you're going after is very much obtainable. And I think a lot of times when we're on the beginning of the path, we still have some of that resistance of like, if I'll make it, maybe I might not make it, kind of thing. And today we're going to be going over that, because the core of what keeps you strong, whether in those moments of realizing if you can make it or not make it, comes to the integration. How have you been integrating your day-to-day life to your day-to-day life, to your work, to how you meet with friends, how you even get more friends, you know, how do you, you know, eat, right? There's so many different things. How do you exercise? How do you wake up? How do you take time to establish your own creation, right? And all this has to be integrated. It's like a power line, right? You have the time that you wake up. You have, you know, like I said, how you eat, how you exercise, how you decide to take time to create the reality that you want. And then you braid all these things together, all these power cords together to give you a supercharge of not only energy, but results in your life. And that's what we're really locking in on today at Levels of Mastery. Shout out to TK. I got TK online. I have Master myself right here to the left of me. Right now, like I said, we're traveling back into Arizona. We left LA about 8 o'clock this morning, 8:30 or so. And we're literally like about an hour out or 45 minutes out of our base here in Phoenix. So with the weather that was going on, like I'll show you guys again, the weather is pretty gloomy, it's pretty ugly out here. And because of that, I was planning to make it at the base by the time I needed to do this, but because of the weather and needed to drive safely, I wasn't able to make it. However, it doesn't mean I'm not going to do it if I could just pull over and just get it done. Another testimony of being integrated, right? And this is what we're going to zero on, so let's go ahead and get started. So I'm your host, Levels of Mastery. Man, that was a super dope introduction, huh? I'm your host, Master Pyro, for Levels of Mastery. Once again, we're going to go through the levels that it takes to be a master. And I'm going to talk to you, anybody that's listening to this after the recording, to understand that you are a master if you're here. If you show up to these talks, you show up to these communication lines, you are in the path to becoming a master and mastery over your state of mind and how you're creating. And it's not something that I'm just trying to use fancy words and just use these things to just, make you think of something that's not really possible. Everything that I'm talking about is very much possible and very much available to anybody that's listening, because these are things that I truly exercise. Like, I'm not doing anything else. And I understand that that's only going to go so far, but it's doing what it needs to do for what it is until people can, be around me and see how I live and how I create and how I establish relationships, how I establish business, things of that nature, because that is the testimony of the state of life, living an IMC, fighting warrior monk / yogi. And I believe that I'm transitioning into a yogi myself, as I was definitely taking on the lifestyle of a monk, but I still see that I have more time to serve as a monk before I can fully transition into a yogi. For those that's IMC Nation, know what I'm talking about. So let's zero in on this concept about integration, how you need to be integrated in your lifestyle. See, I'm a traveler, and that's something that I realized that it's really in tune of who I am. I travel. I think it's like the responsibility of a prophet, right? A man that understands his philosophy, that understands his teacher, that understands his divine connection, and takes the responsibility to go from city to city, town to town, door to door, if you will. And it's not that, and I don't think it's in the sense of not door to door like that. I would say just living life freely, traveling, and people being drawn to this force of knowledge that's walking around, being a display or an example of what that individual sees as the highest power that they can tap into. And I think that's what we need to really lock in on. Like, how often, like, if you really go through your day, I'm sure anybody can measure this, but like, how many times throughout the day are you not putting out your fullest potential, your fullest energy, right? Now, I'm not saying burn yourself out every day, right? I'm not saying that, of course. But however, where do you find that comfortable space where you can just do this forever? Like me right now talking, like I have to have a timer on because I have to still get to where I got to get to and all that. And I know if I keep talking, I'm going to be in this forever. I'm going to keep talking forever. But how do you find that? How do you find that space where, like, man, when I do my art, when I do my music, when I'm on the computer researching how I'm going to create this lifestyle, what is that essence of timelessness that we can tap into? And I believe a lot of that comes from you integrating your lifestyle, integrating new knowledge that you come about, whether it's your finances, whether it's the way you network and things of that nature. So, for example, let me go ahead and give an example. So my state of mind, I believe my state of mind is as sharp and as creative as it is because I integrated hard work and recovery. And what does that mean? I feel like a lot of times people are so worried about getting away. They're so worried about, I need to go travel. I need to go travel. I need to go and do something to distract myself. And they're using that as a sense of recovery, but they're not really recovering or addressing what needs to be, taken care of, if you will. And they got the other side of the fence where people are just head on. Now, I'm not saying not to be head on and not be aggressive, not be hustle mode, if you will, towards your grind or what you is that you want to create. That 100% needs to be there. Of course, I would say more of that than resting and always seeking recovery. But what I am saying, you do have to have a healthy understanding of your own state of mind, state of body, state of emotions, and state of networking or accomplishing. Because if you burn those things out, it's going to come out in your communication. It's going to come out on how you're treating your day-to-day lifestyle. Your room being dirty, your communication being dirty, your how you treat your friends around you, not knowing how to apologize when you make a mistake because you're so caught up on just go that you don't know how to see when you made a mistake somewhere, right? Because you're not as integrated. So recovery and hard work in the sense of going to the gym every day, making sure I'm disciplined, making sure I'm still getting up to service my state of mind before I service the world. All these things help me do that. Also, making sure my communication lines are clear. Like every day I have a lot of communication lines, and I know there's some people that just the way I live rubs them the wrong way. All right, maybe there's something that I have that they wish they had. Maybe it's something that they want to do, but they can't do. Maybe it's something that, you know, it's something that they didn't expect me to accomplish. Maybe they just saw me one way, but yet I'm doing something else, and it just blows their mind how I'm able to do it. So there's like this, it's like this hovering energy on the other side of the fence that I don't know what to do about. Not that I don't know what to do about, nothing I can do about, because I can recognize that it's outside of me. It's outside of what I can control. Now, to be able to make sure I don't take that personal, because that's the biggest thing. Like, I feel like we get knocked off our pivot, or we get distracted, or we get distracted because we take things too personal. It's like, what needs to get done? How does the job need to get done? Then that's when you surrender to the phase of time that, okay, I'm just here to get shit done. I'm not here to try to be like this, that, and the third. No, I'm here to play the role that needs to be played to get things sorted for. And I play that in a lot of roles, doing, behind the scenes for people, reaching myself out, doing exchange work and things of that nature. And these are really core principles, man, that people miss. It's the groundwork. It's the groundwork that needs to be done for it to be there, for it to be established, right? And if there's one thing that I can see that a lot of people lack in what they're doing, is that they're not fully integrated with the knowledge that they're holding or they're obtaining. A lot of people know a lot of shit. Like, we're in the age of technology. We're in the age of knowledge is literally in your fingertips, if you will. So everybody feels like they know everything. Everybody feels like they could just whatever. However, when you really look closely, when you really look at the results, when you really look at their attitude and behavior, there's not an alignment of what they're saying, what they're learning, and what they're doing. And this is because there's an internal process that's being run that doesn't allow you to be fully integrated in the art or the lifestyle you want to create. Because at the end of the day, what else are we doing every day? Are we not waking up every day to live the life we want to live? But why is it when we're living the life we want to live, we're still waking up like it's not available right now to some degree? To some degree, there's a wide spectrum. Now, maybe right now, you're not at the highest degree of what it is that you want to do. However, maybe the very lowest degree is available that you need to insert yourself in and expand. But if you're not setting out a mentor, if you're not setting out a group of people that is in alignment of what you're doing, if you're not remaining disciplined in what you need to do for yourself to remain in that space, in other words, not integrating all these things into your life, then you fail, you flop, if you will. What are some examples to know you're not being integrated? Well, maybe you're not telling the full story of what you want to create. Maybe you're not fully expressing what you want to do. Maybe you're out here being an artist, but you're not sharing to everybody that you're an artist. Maybe you're out here being a DJ, but nobody knows you're a DJ. Maybe you're out here, but so it's like, and I get it. There is a phase where you're like, man, I got to prove to myself I'm worthy of saying a DJ. Okay, but that doesn't mean you should not carry yourself as that and speak on it. And I feel like that's a gap of alignment or integration internally that people fall into. Or another thing, nobody in their closest friends or family have any kind of interest or any kind of support towards that goal or dream that they want, and they're investing a hell of a lot of time into them. Okay, well, that's where you got to make a decision of how true are you going to stay towards yourself and your own art and accomplishing what you want to accomplish. Because guess what? If not, you're going to sacrifice your dream, your art, for other people that has already decided not to chase theirs. So therefore, automatically yours is dead. Yours is not being fed life. Now, how do you feed life into the life that you want to create? How do you breathe life into what you want to do? Well, it comes back to the ionization process. It comes down to the AZD process, which is you got to wake up early in the morning. You got to wake up at a certain time before you have a exchange with the world and have an external exchange with yourself. It starts with addressing that your communication hasn't been the best. Man, that's where a lot of people drop out right there. A lot of people drop out right there where they got to face that their communication is not as sharp as it can be. It's not the most friendly it could be. It's not the most protective as it could be. And that's something that hinders a lot of people in the beginning because everybody feels like they know everything. They got to the phase of like, yes, they got the courage to go after the dream. They got the courage to start investing in themselves. And because they're at that height of that level, they feel like they can't hear nobody else. They don't need to hear it because they figured it out. But we all know, to the day we die, we haven't figured shit out. If you're really on your spiritual process, if you've really been seeking that level within yourself, that you're truly free internally, and you're truly on the quest of living as abundant as possible, you start realizing very quick, you don't know a lot of shit. And on top of that, you don't even know how most of these things are even happening. How do I know that's true? Because that's how it's just happening for me. If you go back on Levels of Mastery or Morning of Mastery back on my Instagram 2 years ago, 3 years, going on 3 years now, you will see that I was in that time phase where I was still seeking out being fully on my own, on my craft. I was still seeking being an entrepreneur. I was still seeking getting away from the matrix or working a regular job. So you can see the contrast of how I was thinking and how I was integrating myself to transition to the next phase of life or the next phase of my own life, if you will, to do what I'm doing now. Because I was very aware that, man, if I get to where I'm at now, like, for example, if you get everything that you want, like if tomorrow is a day, you got to answer this because it's something that I answer for myself a lot. If tomorrow comes the day, like guaranteed tomorrow, you're going to have everything you want, the money, the girls, the cars, the houses, the lifestyle, the freedom, the communication, the network. Did you truly prepare yourself? Did you really take time to earn that position? My G, if the answer is no, then you have to let go of thinking it's going to happen right here, right now. And that to that degree, you have to accept that you are where you are. And the more that you expand in that space of where you are, the next thing you know, you're going to be in that future space that you're looking for yourself. Because that's what I'm doing. I always wanted to be a photographer once I started doing public speaking, because that was my next level. I didn't have no models. I remember I used to ask my best friend and his wife at the time to take pictures just so I can exercise taking pictures, just so I can have a temporary model, just so I can say I did a photo shoot. And now I got girls coming from all over the country wanting to shoot with me. Now I have businesses willing to invest in me. Wait a minute, is this the same lifetime that I'm living? You know, is this the same dream that I seeked out for myself, or am I now living it? Is it now in the space? Yes, it is. So, okay, how am I going to maintain it? Well, I got to continue to be integrated in my craft. I have to see, you know what, right now I'm not mentally clear to create. So I need time to recover and not feel bad for not working at the moment, because a sense of workaholism, whatever you want to call it, like that, whatever that is, like a sense of that starts to, you have to become somewhat of a workaholic. You have to be grinding. However, you have to know the other side of true recovery. Because you see, what I've been learning is that, yes, you can do that, but you don't want to create off of frustration. You don't want to create off of being over burnt out. Like, you don't want to create when you are forcing, because now you're going down the line of forced creation. And I've learned how to keep that space pure in my creation by knowing, hey, man, that doesn't feel right. I don't feel internally right. I don't feel like I could really truly give how I want to really give this thing a sense of my energy. And you start to measure that in a different light. So before I close it out and begin to transition to closing it out, if there's anybody that's online or anybody that's here that wants to give any kind of insight or maybe any thing that comes up for you, feel free to unmute and give any kind of feedback. If not, there's no pressure at all. I'm almost at my 30-minute mark, and then I'm gonna close it out. I got 5 minutes.
Mind if I speak real quick, Master Pyro?
Yeah, no doubt.
It's been a while.
Yes, sir. Tap in.
All right. I like what you said about grades, not from frustration. That is a powerful quote, man, because how often have we not done that? We get fed up, we get angry, we do such stupid things when it comes to frustration and anger, and like damn. Like it's very similar to what if pain was not a requirement for my success.
Nice. Anybody know what I'm seeing with that is that it's like filtering. Like in my mind, I filter anything that's opposing as something that is, no matter how deep or how strong it is, can be alchemized. I just don't have this. I don't have the mind, or I don't have the spirit of anything that enters into my mind through my senses. I just don't believe. I don't have the belief that it can destroy me. It could be used as fuel sometime. Maybe it might not be today, tomorrow, next week, next month. Might even be next 3 years. But at some point, I can pull from this experience and become great and use it to alchemize. And it might take that time.
It's
right?
funny you say that.
Yeah, man. That's exactly how I create.
That's funny you say it, because Primal Sutra's second episode for IMCTV is called The Pleasure Alchemist.
Nice.
Yeah, that's very funny. Very funny today. I wonder what the spirits are doing here. So the idea, yeah, it's one of those too many coincidences, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the idea of the pleasure alchemy is very heavily based on IMC Nation, right? But the way I formulate it is mind, body, soul becomes one. It's like the still blade, right? A steady blade cuts better, right? I believe, did boxing or kickboxing. If there's a moment where you're not jumping around, and there's a moment where you're so still that you can hear a pin drop. And that's the moment you strike, and that shit strikes through, and just fucking shit just snaps.
100%. I haven't done any boxing or anything like that, but I've done combatives in the army. In the army, we learn combatives, which is similar to like a mixed martial art to a degree.
Right. For your build, I see more of a whipping style, like Israel Adesanya, because your frame is very much built for that. Lean, skinny, Wiz Khalifa-esque. Well, you kind of look like him, but anyway.
Yeah. I get that. In LA, I get it all the time, bro. I'm like, I'm his cousin at this point.
At this point, right? So the idea becomes your style is all about whipping. Now, when I strike, I whip too, but my style is hit and run. Hit and run to wear him out and look for a moment of weakness where I can hit those power shots.
Yep.
I only need a few, and then it's over. And then combine it with my grappling, and it's for sure over. Anyway, the idea of a pleasure alchemist is, especially at San Jose Airport, funny. The idea of the pleasure alchemist becomes everything, both the good and the bad, becomes a ingredient for me to use for something, be it productive or whatever.
Exactly.
So where the Stoic just neutralizes and the surrender experimenters simply observe it. At Primal Sutra, especially Dr. Scripps and I, we go a step further where we understand that, like, let's say a heavy trigger is a trauma trigger. Like, so much emotion comes up that we have to now recognize it for what it is. Like, this is no longer me. That is just something, a part of me that needs time to process.
Yep.
And you could do it via yoga. You could do it via, exercise, whatever. And then you have shadow work, right? Are you willing to face the things that suck? Be it
Yeah.
the weaknesses that you fear, or be the greatness that you are intimidated by. For me, it was the last 2 weekends. Like, I never done competition in my life. Grappling wise, did that shit, did pretty good. I beat up bigger opponents. That was fantastic. Now I'm like, okay, cool. Now I have the taste, you know what I'm saying? Now I have to
Yeah.
do this every night.
Yeah, because you
Right?
become hungry. You become hungry for that. You become like a seeking. You become
Mm,
a entity or a being that seeks out these
mm,
experiences, whether good or bad, to
right.
become that powerful individual.
So it comes two things, right? On the one hand, I realize that I can survive this, and because I survive, now it becomes more of a relaxation, right? I take away the power that it used to have on me, right? Imagine a competition being just, I'm taking a ride to a picnic. Why would I stress about it, right? And now it is becoming, can I replicate that level of, combative flow that I do in training into competition and vice versa?
Yes, yes, yes.
Introduce intensity, and the only answer that keeps coming up is, instead of just exploring, it becomes aggressive play, right?
Exactly.
Because
And that's integrating. And I feel like that goes back to the main point of what this life is about, which is integrating
I see.
yourself as much as possible and realizing what holes in your own internal stance,
Mm,
that every time these things, because like I don't just limit like everything you just said in the physical, I don't limit to it in just that aspect. I apply those same things in the mental, emotional, and spiritual world as
right.
well. You know what I'm saying? And it's like with that, it's like I see, okay,
I
how
see.
integrated in my thing, because somewhere it taps in. And but one thing about it is that it when you're fully integrated internally, it's things like that where people have to just, I don't know how to really put it, man. People have to be involved. Like they
Right.
have to be involved into it, because
Right.
there's something there's something in the space of your, your body or
Your
whatever that,
beingness, right?
yeah, your being is because of
It's
full
like you
integration.
become magnetic, because it's like you become the embodiment of fun, right? And thus you attract people that seek it out, so to speak.
Yeah.
I find it funny that we have the same idea but two different approaches. I want one thing that handles everything. So if for my mind works like a business analyst, right? Because I am a business analyst. If I look at life like a process and I simplify it to its essence, and the bottlenecks, what are they really? And am I looking at a symptom or the actual pain point, the actual thing that causes the pain, right? And if I handle that, I handle all the symptoms in theory. And based on Jesus working almost 1.5 years with Dr. Scripps on that aspect, like day in and out, like it's become 24/7 spirituality with us. I'll
Hey,
tell
you
you
know,
some
it's
other
crazy
time.
that you just said that. 'Cause man, just opened up something for me. I think that's
Mm,
very important to say, is that whatever path or whatever you're doing, it's like everybody has this gift called tolerance.
mm,
Like we all can
mm.
tolerate something. It's like, well, where are you putting your tolerance at? And where are you misusing your tolerance?
Right. You
Right?
can't be good at
And
everything.
yeah, you can't be good at everything. Exactly. So what are you willing to put your tolerance in? I feel like a lot of people put their tolerance in the wrong people. They put it in the wrong
Mm,
activities. They put it in the wrong hands, and things like that. And that's what I'm seeing out of this conversation with you, because that's
yes.
I feel like that's another code or another like a combination lock. You gotta look for the right number before you go to the next number. I
Right.
feel like that tolerance has to be at a certain frequency for you to
Right.
unlock this
Right.
true integration internally. You know,
Right.
so
So
that's very interesting, man.
there's many ways to not a retort, but to add on to what you just said. I truly believe that where you find, as AZDs would say, the Shakti, that life force, that weapon, that the
Mm-hmm.
Vajra, as the Buddhists would say, there tends to be the hints in what your life purpose is. For me, it was through working with spirits, working with Dr. Scripps, that I figured, okay, in this lifetime I'll be a preacher, because I seem to have noticed that the more I speak, it's almost like things make more sense to me. Like it's like that. It's like when you sing and suddenly everybody goes quiet and they listen, and everything just tunes. And I want to build almost a team around that talent,
Yeah.
because I can't be good at everything. So let's say
Yeah.
the Primal Sutra team isn't just spirits; it's a team of other magicians and other people that have specialties. And
Mhm.
with and this is more so a promise that I want to make true, that I've made with the spirits that I work with, and it has also a lot to do with making my life a little bit more interesting.
Mm.
I want to provide the world with clean water or cleaner water, and there has to be a better way to do this. And two, can I, and hopefully I can, cause the youth in all forms to reignite the passion that was lost?
Yeah.
Because it shouldn't be the case that we're so modern and yet depression is rampant. It should be impossible, and yet it's the case. And I resent that.
Mm.
How is it possible that we have so many facilities like spas, etc.? I don't know why I got emotional there, but it's one of those. Isn't it funny how depression needs deep resting?
Yeah.
What the
100%.
fuck, man?
Yeah, well, we learned
It's
that. Well, we learned that from TM. I learned that from Transcendental Meditation. I do Transcendental Meditation. I learned from the same individual, Michael Yankis, that taught AZD,
I
TM,
see.
and that's something that I've discovered within myself, and that's part of why I'm talking about integration. And not to cut you off, but I gotta finish this point so I can go to the next person.
I,
Um,
I,
but yeah, but that's a very key point, because that's what I'm saying. When you're integrated, you start seeing how important rest really is. It's not just rest as far as just sleep. Not talking
right.
about just only limited to just sleep. How do you recover your body? How do you recover your internal organs? How do you recover your state of mind? How do you recover your emotional state of mind? How do you recover, you know, your spiritual alignment? Because that needs recovery when you're in the world,
There you
right?
go.
I'm running through the world. Like this weekend, I was just at the model retreat this weekend, which is an event that's a weekend where there's a whole bunch of different energies from all over the country. Beautiful women, I'm sure that be like in the spiritual world, like slaughtering men because they're so beautiful that they can do whatever the fuck they want. And it's like I have to, not have to, but I'm there, and my energy is around that. So what I'm saying in a sense, like I gotta learn how to rest. I have to learn how to
There you
I need
go.
to do things that help recover myself, and that's something that's very important in
So
creating.
let me give you some extra gold on that. For every trial you go through, you spend twice as much intensity on the self-care part.
Yeah.
That's a new rule we've learned this week from the spirits. But anyway, I have to go to a new meeting. I'll see you guys later.
Hey
Jesse,
man, I
Tony
appreciate you for
K.
joining, brother. I appreciate your time, brother.
Or
Oh,
let's catch up sometime. Also, we have channeling sessions every Sunday. I want to see you there.
all right,
Us.
brother. Thank you, brother. Oh, so I'm gonna go ahead and get ready to close it out. I know Jesse, you just jumped in. I have master myself here. The main talk about it, which you can obviously watch it once I post it now. I'm talking about being integrated and why the power of being integrated is so powerful and what you're doing. Because what I mean by integrated, well, as much as you're doing hard work, how much are you resting? How much are you being creative? How much are you using your mind to recover your state of mind? And I think that's very important in how we go about living life, because we're so used or trained or programmed to just burn ourselves out, go to work and burn ourselves out, and then we'll catch whatever we catch. Yes, to a degree, it's time for that, and there also needs to be a time for just rest. And part of what he just said, Ryan, as far as depression, is just saying you need deep rest. Your body is not resting properly. Your nervous system is not being treated properly by having the right amount of rest, as it's being charged all the time. And that's very important. I think, me as a traveler, which was started off my talk, I'm traveling. I travel a lot. I was just in LA. I'm going out to Phoenix. You have to be very integrated to not get knocked off your process, because it's very easy being around a lot of women, being a lot of people, being a lot of random people and shit like that. It's very easy to be knocked out because they throw poison. They throw their poison at you where they say this and they just speak negative, man. It's like, fuck, bro. Is there any positive words that come out your mouth, like ever, you know? And that does attach to you to some degree. To some degree, your mind has to process that shit, which is fucked up to think about, but it's true. Every time somebody throws a negative thing, yes, consciously you could be like, whatever, but somewhere inside of you, you have to process that shit. And that's so important. So yeah, brother, let me go ahead and hold on 1 second, brother. Hold on 1 second. Go ahead.
What's going on? Salute. So yeah, I just wanted to add to what Maspar was saying. You know, what I've witnessed, you know, having had been a cooperative component or a partner in the activities in this past weekend, for sure can say that, you know, integration is essential for acceleration, right? So, you know, we've accelerated, you know, beyond what it was that, you know, we were living at, the state of mind, the frequency of, you know, our habits, if you will, or the way that we were carrying ourselves beforehand. But the integration for us, like, on many different levels, I see it, you know, making this trip, but also going to San Jose the last time I did with ACD and whatnot, and, you know, having the ability to accelerate, right, to pick up the speed of how we're moving, what we're talking about, you know, the business conversations, the, you know, integrations of the conversations that we're having, you know, all of this picks up on a different level. So the process helps us to integrate everything that we need to, so that we can accelerate at the level that we need to, right, to be able to move at the frequency and the vibration that you want to really move to, right? So it's really, really essential what you were talking about today, because you know, understanding it can give you the foundation that you need to really take your life to the next level.
Yeah, it's like the spine. It's like your spiritual spine, if you will. But go ahead, brother. I know I don't know how much time you got. I'm gonna close out. Go ahead, Jesse. Before I close it out, you had your hand raised, and I'm gonna touch on that as well.
No, I just wanted to I don't know if you can hear me, but
I can hear you, brother.
Loud in here. Yeah, I just wanted to talk all that. Yeah, I just wanted to confirm that, bro. Like, I've been working at the club the last few weeks, bro, and man, it's the most negatively impactful shit ever. Like, it's crazy to be the one sober having to monitor all these babies, bro. Like, I fully get it. But no, I've got to head back in, bro, so I've got to go too. It's good to see you, brothers. I'll try and tap in more, but fuck, I'm just busy. But yeah, it's good to see you, brothers. Brother, keep doing your shit.
Yeah, brother. Keep locking in, bro. We see your efforts, man. Stay true to it, man. Yeah, man. Just want to kind of tap in what you said. The reason why I know it's very important to have this process and have this sense of balance is because, to me, it's like your spiritual spine. It's your spiritual backbone, if you will. And you have to learn, like, through the transition that people go through. I see that you have to learn a very healthy understanding of what to sacrifice and what to stay true, or what to, you know, lock in on, if you will, right? And it's because of maybe time sensitive things, or maybe have you, what's the most important thing to make sure you get done, or whatever case you need to keep your frequency at a certain level. And it goes in a lot of ways. Like me, I've gotten down to just a very simple prayer in the morning, right? And because I've had it where it's like that, and it's like, but it's very heavy for me, that prayer, for me to just use just that if I don't do anything else. And that's very important, because you got to learn how to just take what you have available to you and make the most out of it. And the more you do that, life starts to give you more space to create, because it has registered how abundant you are in the least amount of things. So it doesn't understand the difference between you having everything and not everything, because you treated nothing like everything. And it's just this beautiful dance of life that I can get into. But I want to go ahead and just cut it off here, because I definitely went way more longer than I anticipated. And I need to get out this rain and get back safely to the base. So just to close it out, I want to say thank you to everybody that tapped in with me. I have Master myself here, Jesse that tapped in, TK that was on here as well. I think he's still on here. And yeah, he's still on here. And and Ryan that was on here as well. I appreciate you guys for tapping in. Everybody that's going to watch this later, go back through your notes. If you have taken notes, if not, go through again, take some notes. And I guarantee you, if you actually exercise those notes until the next time we see each other again next week, you will see a change in how, or just be more aware of how you're not truly incorporating the knowledge that you are holding, right? We're all gathering knowledge. We're all being insightful, but how much of it are you really exercising? And that's what I really want to push people to, a challenge of like exercise what you have obtained up to this point, and recognize how much more you need to integrate, and not do that in a sense of scarcity or a sense of I'm going to lose something. No, do exactly what you've been working on, which is to be a better version of yourself and expand at that high level. All right. This is Master Power tapping in on Levels of Mastery here on IMC TV YouTube live stream. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Till next